Here are 33 XDefiant tips that you would have wished you'd known sooner. You can cook most nades in XDefiant, and you even have little indicators to tell you how long it's going to be before you accidentally blow yourself up.
Exploded by your own explosive device. Humanity, everybody.
This is really good for a bunch of things, like throwing nades on objectives or destroying phantom ults. You can get extra weapon XP bonuses in the Ubisoft launcher. There's a bunch of challenges to complete, and this will really help you level up. There's also even more rewards in the Ubisoft referral program. If you haven't played XDefiant yet, you can click the link in the pinned comment, and when you're level 10, you'll get a Battle Pass booster. And if you're already playing, you can send this link to your friends and get tons of weapon XP and some different skins. You can actually shoot gadgets, so for example, the healing ult where everyone seems almost invincible, you can just shoot it and then it's gone immediately. You can block bullets from both sides of the phantom shield. You can shoot phantom riot shields in the space near the head. So just shoot that and you'll realize that this ability is pretty bad. If you're struggling with recoil in XDefiant, there's a very easy trick to basically have no recoil. Just spam left and right as fast as you possibly can, and the recoil is pretty much gone. Headshots are really important in XDefiant. See this tweet from Mark Rubin. It's really important to get better at hitting more headshots. That's going to be the skill gap in this game. Not crazy jump spamming or anything like that, but hitting more headshots. Speaking of jump spamming, here's a fun little movement trick you can do. If you press crouch and then jump immediately after, you jump further. And you'll have your weapon out whilst jumping too. Enemy footsteps and enemy gunshots are much louder than allies, so if you're hearing footsteps, it's probably a bad guy. Remember the phantom ult? Yeah, not only are nades good at dealing with it, but just shoot the thing. He's not going to keep up with you anyway, so just shoot it and it'll be destroyed before you know it. The more players on an objective, the faster you're going to get points, or the faster that objective is going to progress. The pistol is much faster for running, so when you're going from point A to point B, best thing you can do is put your main gun away and walk around with your pistol. The better you get at swapping to your pistol whenever you need to run about, quicker you're going to move around the map. Head glitches in XDefiant are super important, just like any shooter game. And this map has been designed very specifically to have a bunch of headshots. Whether you're holding a ramp, a heal, or just a couple boxes, you have a much better chance of seeing everyone else whilst they can hardly even see you. The more you jump, the more you have fatigue, and the worse your hipfire spread is. On top of this, if you jump spam, it's still going to look good in a couple patches because they're going to fix jump spamming. Focus on good strafing instead. Strafing with some good ADS movement speed perks on some of the attachments means you're going to dodge more bullets and have better accuracy. At the end of the match, make sure to click like on one of these things. You get 100 XP for doing it. If you see this icon here when you're playing the healing class, it means your teammate needs healing, so just go stand by them to heal them up. You can place the healing ability on a corner like this and peek in and out, and every time you peek, you're going to have full health again. It's really annoying for the enemies and really overpowered. If you see revealed by Intel suit, the Intel player is in radius of their tactical, which means they're going to be really close to you. The cleaner firebomb is a really powerful ability, but you don't want to activate it when you see a player. You want to activate it as you run around a corner toward a player. It takes a couple seconds. Once you get used to the timing, you'll be able to wipe out entire objectives with this thing. This is a really good tip for pretty much every arena shooter. Instead of running straight out in the middle and straight into the open, try and always have your body close to one side of the terrain. The maps are designed in a very great way where you can always have cover to your left or to your right, which means only half of your body is going to show whenever you see an enemy, and any enemy that sees you will have a harder chance at shooting you. If you struggle with recoil, maybe don't go for recoil control on your attachments, try ADS stability, and if that doesn't help, try ADS movement speed. Because like most games, XDefiant has recoil smoothing, which means if you move your aim left or right, there will be no recoil anymore, and you can counter that by just strafing in the opposite direction. And with more ADS movement speed, you'll be able to strafe faster, meaning that recoil will be non-existent. Latency in XDefiant is really bad. So if you think you're behind cover, you're probably not. So make sure to run even further behind cover before you stop and wait to heal, because on another player's screen, you might just be standing out in the open. The more kills you get, the faster you'll level up your weapons, and I found Occupy is the best mode for getting as many kills as possible. Melee in this game is kind of really strong, so try meleeing some people and you'll be surprised at the results. The cleaner actually has less damage long range, so whilst the passive is good for dealing more damage up close, if you're going for a long range AR build or a sniper, it's probably not worth playing the cleaner. This next tip I'm going to show you live because it's going to save you a lot of confusion. It's about some weapons doing more damage than it really says. So, for example, we can see the M44 here does 70 damage and the TAC 50 does 90 damage. However, when we actually go in game, you'll notice something strange. That does 144. 144, 144. It seems there's different damage modifiers that actually determine the real damage. So all you really need to know is the TAC 50 will one-shot everything, whilst the M44 will only one-shot headshot. Another important stat to think about in XDefiant is damage fall-off, which is a massive deal. SMGs can feel really powerful, but it's not long before they feel really useless. This range, you get the full damage. Now keep in mind, this build in particular has a long range muzzle, so we're dealing damage at longer distances, but it really doesn't make a difference because 5 meters, still full damage, 10 meters, full damage, 15 full, but once you go to 25 on all SMGs, that damage is really bad. It's 8, making it really, really not good. So if you want to try and take down a player and you're using an SMG, trying to shoot at this distance just isn't worth it. Now, it's really hard to know how far people are away sometimes. So the best thing you can do is make sure you have damage numbers turned on in the settings. That way you can get a good idea that, oh, this player is out of my effective range of the SMG. Let's get closer before we shoot them. Otherwise, it's not worth it. Now this does even matter on weapons like the AK, for example. The AK here only does 18 damage, when its base damage is actually 22. It's not really an issue with the assault rifles though, it's more of a issue with SMGs. Here's a really cool tip about the cleaner class. They do more damage with the passive. It's basically 2 damage per tick. Take a look at how it works. 2, 2, 2, 2. Every time you shoot, that restarts. Which is pretty awesome, because it allows you to create builds that would otherwise be impossible. For example, if we change our faction to something else really quick, you'll see this SVD does 98 damage, which isn't enough to one-shot. However, with the cleaner doing these 2 ticks of damage, it opens up a lot more power on this build. The SVD is now one-shot because of that 2 ticks of damage that happens. Even long range. This next tip is about LMGs, which I think are one of the most underrated weapon classes in XDefiant. In fact, the most underrated. If you take a look at the stats, they are really powerful. However, it's the M249 in particular that stands out because it has higher DPS, faster time to kill than any other gun in the game in terms of full auto. Faster than the Vector, faster than the AK. And this thing is actually really easy to use. It's not hard like other games, and like we said earlier, you can just pull out your pistol when you need to, and swapping to this thing isn't even hard. It doesn't have slow swap speeds. The only thing that is like a problem with this gun is literally the reload time, and that's it. Everything else about this is really good, and it's extremely underrated. Everything about it is amazing. It's really, really crazy how good it is, and people are certainly sleeping on it. The final tip is make sure to have fun. A lot of people are complaining XDefiant's terrible. People are complaining about people jump spamming. People are complaining about different meta, this and that. Just enjoy yourself. It's a game. Alright friends, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the comments. Cheerio.